This is the Seaside Top.
It was named by two of my very best friends in Florida, Jan and Patty. So I think it's a really cute top, and let me show you how simple it is to do. First of all, you need your master pattern. And remember, we're not going to cut that master pattern up, so we're going to use the master pattern, and we're going to make a whole different pattern that we can cut up. Now, in order to do this, you need to purchase pattern ease. I love pattern ease. I've talked about it in all the videos that I've done. You can purchase this on my website, and it's a great product because you can see through it. So I'm going to ask you to hold this up to yourself so that you can see through it and exactly what we're doing before you cut it apart. Makes your sewing easy. You're also going to need just a strip of French fuse. French fuse is a tricot fusible interfacing. Again, I sell it on my website in beige, white, and black. Choose whatever color you want to use, but we're going to put it under the buttons to support the buttons. You're also going to need a fabric glue stick if you want to do the top that I have on, because you can see that this is chevroned, and I glued all these stripes together to make sure that the chevron stayed in place. Now, if you've not seen the videos on how to work with French fuse and how to work with the glue stick, I encourage you to go back and watch those videos because there's some really great shortcuts on there. When you open up the master pattern, you're going to find a big pattern and you're going to find a DVD. Watch the DVD and it'll tell you how to create the pattern that fits you. This is a perfect garment for a beginner because it's just straight lines. And you're going to be so impressed with yourself you won't believe it. On that DVD, there are also PDFs, so make sure that you print up the PDFs. I took my disc to a printer and I had them print up all the PDFs and I put them in a bound book. You can do it yourself at home, but I just had a printer do it. When you print up the directions, you'll notice that they're big colored pictures that take you step by step on how to do the garment. Now the neckline I have on and the neckline that is on the dress form here is called Chanel trim. So please make sure that you go back to your PDF to see how that's done. I'm going to show you how to create the pattern right now. So I'm going to print off the directions for the Seaside top, and you can see this is the top I have on, and this is the one that's on the dress form. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut a new master pattern because we don't ever cut this up. We're happy with it, and we've printed that off. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open this up. Now I've cut a whole front because I want you to hold the whole front up to you. And I'm finger pressed the center front of this. And by the way, everybody that wants a grain and crease line, this is your grain and crease line. So let's get started drawing our pattern. So the first thing we're going to do is, remember I finger pressed that, so we're just going to draw a line right down the center. Now those of you that are beginners, I would suggest you write on your pattern, draw an arrow like this, and write the word stretch. Then you will have no guesswork whatsoever as to which way this is supposed to stretch. The reason I'm telling you that is if you choose a piece of fabric that stretches, and it only stretches one way, and you turn it the opposite where the stretch goes up and down, your shirt's not going to fit. So always make sure that whenever you're making a new pattern, you write on there the word stretch. Now this is how hard this one is to create. I'm going to draw a line 3 inches away that's parallel to this center line. And that's all you need is 3 inches, like this. And then connect the dots. We all did this in school, didn't we? Like this. And go straight up into the shoulder, because if you look at what's on the dress form, it's straight up into the shoulder. Now, this is your Seaside top. So right on there, Seaside. Here's the next step. Hold it up to yourself. Do you like where that line's going to be? Because if you look, what makes this top different is the stripes are going in 2 different directions. So make sure that you hold it up and you like exactly where it's going to be. Then all you have to do is to cut it apart, right on that new line that you just drew. And don't we love our Kai scissors? Look how easy this is to cut. I love these scissors. You don't even have to pump them. All you have to do is to guide them. just like this. Now add a 1/2 inch to each of these pieces because you have to put it back together again. So you have to have a seam allowance. So Scotch tape a 1/2 inch to this side and a 1/2 inch to this side. And when you sew it back together, you have this really pretty top. I do want to point out the buttons that are on the Seaside top because these are really, really heavy buttons. So I have taken a strip of French fuse and ironed it right over where that seam allowance is. That really keeps the seam allowance nice and straight, but it really supports these heavy buttons. If you put buttons this big and this heavy on a knit, they tend to fall on you. So make sure that you support that with the French fuse. Now the top that I have on, if you're going to wear a mitered top, you need to make sure that that miter is straight, and the easiest way to do it is to use the glue stick. So go make yourself a new top.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's time to check out the website. Everything is on there. You can purchase the pattern, the book, all the notions I talked about. You can join the Fit Club and check out the classes where I'm teaching. And be sure to follow me on Facebook.